quick little tip. If you're new to trout fishing, this is my bobber setup that I like to use. And this is actually really similar to what you would do for steelhead or salmon, you know, if you're fishing like a bobber and jig setup. But this is basically just scaled down for trout. And basically what I've got here is a 7-foot Shakespeare. This is like a $16 rod from Bi-Mart. It's nothing special. It's just a little 2-piece spinning rod. It's a fairly light action, but it's a nice little rod. The reel, again, is nothing expensive. I think this is like a $15. It's a little big. It doesn't have to be this big. This is a size 35, but it's a Okuma Ignite. And the most important thing is I've got this 10-pound braid on here. And the reason why I like to use braid is because braid will actually float on top of the water instead of sinking and weighing your bobber down. So I highly recommend using the braided line. You don't have to. You can use mono. But I just like using the braided line. So as far as the setup goes, you want to get your little bobber stop, little rubber bobber stop. You thread that on your braided line. And technically I should have a little tiny bead, but I think it fell off whenever I was putting this on, and I just never noticed it until now. But anyway, what this bobber stop does is it slides up and down the line, and that helps you adjust the depth of your float. And this is a sliding float, and I like these little clear bottom ones. Simply because I feel like the fish don't see them, because sometimes you're fishing, pretty shallow. I mean, that's what I was literally fishing. Excuse me. That's what I was literally fishing yesterday, was like maybe 2 feet, about 24 inches below, because the water's pretty shallow. So next, under your bobber, once you slide the bobber on there, get a little barrel swivel, and you're going to tie one end of the barrel swivel to your braided line. And then below that, I'm actually using, I believe this is 6-pound fluorocarbon. And same thing, you don't have to use fluorocarbon, you can use mono. But I do like to use the fluorocarbon just simply because I feel like it's, it's a little thinner. Fish don't see it whenever you're fishing for these, fish that are really highly pressured. You kind of want to use all these advantages that you can. So I like using the fluorocarbon line. And then you just have to kind of adjust this to where you want, but put a piece of split shot on, a number 7 split shot, and just crimp that thing down tight so it don't slide up and down your line. But I like to put it fairly close to the hook, about 4 inches or so, and that's actually going to hold that down, make that bobber stand straight up in the water. And that's what you really want, is that bobber sitting straight up in the water. So if a fish comes up on your hook and grabs that, it's gonna pull that bobber down, so you'll notice it. And then I just use a number 4 bait holder style hook, and these are just cheap eagle claw hooks. Again, don't get too caught up on brands when you're just starting out. Just buy what you can afford and go use that. But this is really a slick setup. It's adjustable for the depth. It's pretty stealthy, and the nice thing about the lighter rods is when you do catch a fish, you get to give it a good fight. So highly recommend this setup. Just use your basic fisherman's knot to tie all these on. So this is my other setup. This is just a Shakespeare ugly stick. It's 7-foot 2-piece spinning rod. This is like a medium action. It's actually got a fair amount of backbone to it. But this is actually just like a Walmart rod. So I mean, you could actually go down to Walmart and just buy this. I want to say it was about $30, maybe $35. And then I've got a Okuma Kaimar, the C40. Same thing, that's about a $35, $40 reel. Excellent reels, by the way. I really, really like these reels, for that money. There's just not much out there that beats them, in my opinion. And then after the Okuma, I've got it loaded up with 10-pound fluorocarbon I believe this is a Seagar brand. And, you know, same thing. I'm kind of a big fan of fluorocarbon and braid. But for the spinners, I like using the fluorocarbon because it sinks instead of floats like, you know, like the braid does. So I feel like it kind of gets your spinner down there where you want to be fishing. But anyhow, just using like a little Panther Martin spinner, and that is not the one I caught fish on yesterday. Actually, both of the fish that I caught were on the black blade and black body with the yellow spots, but the same size. So I tried to pre-plan, and I went to the store last night and got us some night crawlers, and they're sitting at home in my fridge. Fishing about 45 minutes here, and we still don't have any fish. Haven't had a single bite. Well, here's the deal. We left Trillium because the fishing was... Actually, we don't know. We didn't fish long enough. The wind got so bad that we couldn't really use our kayaks. And so we left, and we went out to Clear Lake. And as we figured, the wind was blowing really, really badly. So we didn't stick around there. I mean, we kind of knew that was going to happen there. But we got the idea to cut over the hill to Harriet here. And the weather's a lot better. Some wind, but nothing like we were dealing with. But the fish here have just got lockjaw. I've got one fish so far on a spinner, and it just hasn't really been that fun. So I don't know what we're going to do here. We're going to kind of go up by the top of the reservoir here and try to fish in the shallows a little bit. I saw some trout up there earlier, schooled up in some of the different places. And yeah, I don't know. We're really debating on whether we should just take off and go get a hamburger or a beer or something, but you know, guess it just is what it is.